Hello and welcome, brave souls, to the center of your entertainment galaxy. I am your GM in the Great Barrier. We are back with Star Trek Adventures Broken Sword. Today we are on Qulpu juHDaq yIleH, Part 6. Before I do that, Caligo, did you want to include that shout out on the D&D game?
Yeah, I've been running a D&D game and streaming it, but against my will on Mondays.
Against your will?
Yeah, because one of the players is a streamer, just like you have to stream it, and thus I am.
Okay.
It's been an interesting
Simple as.
watch through for those of you in the audience that overlap with the for those of you that are in the overlapping zone of the Venn diagram of Star Trek Adventures people and weebs. This is this is at least for the weeb part of you. It's very much high fantasy setting, as I've gathered from the first couple streams.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'd definitely say catch that live. It will also be in the description of the video for those of you joining us in the archive. Let's go ahead and get on with today's adventure. We will be joined by our full cast shortly. We're just waiting for one more, but while that's all that's going on, let's just cover what happened in previous sessions. And that is that the Jan has arrived on the world of Mektor. It is the seat of power of the House of Cord, an ancient seat, and certainly for what little power remains of it. The House of the Captain has fallen on very hard times indeed as a much less wealthy merchant ship, and it had only been through long efforts in the years before the campaign started that they worked themselves towards a relatively even spot. And the fate of the Yan to this point has been very much what seemed like it might determine the future of the house. As you arrived here to resupply, repair, and otherwise just gain some rest, you found, Captain, that things were afoot in your home, that your brother, Tabor, had in fact found a way that perhaps the fate of the House of Cord might be tied to another, particularly the Shatlath Guild. They are at once, at its head, there is of course the House of Shatlath, but there's also, they are also a massive economic power within the Empire. They are an alliance of other merchant houses that the guild comprises, other sort of business entities. They wield considerable influence and are present in most industries. To be tied to them in any sense would be a major boon to the house. So,
right.
That, it was, though it was behind your back, it was something that your brother has apparently been working on, setting up an agreement with them, which would of course have eventually required your accession. And despite your initial conflicts, he did acknowledge as such in recent sessions. But the deal boils down to that Mektor would become a hub world for them, that they would be able to basically, in exchange for some land and for the idea that you would eventually repay loans they are prepared to offer, they would essentially sponsor Mektor as a growing and developed port to allow them greater access into some of the northern reaches of the Empire and to some of the worlds beyond, to trade more with the Enolians, the Orions, even those upstart colonists all about from the Federation worlds, and maybe even secretly onto them. Mektor is otherwise well off the major trade routes, so it is an interesting opportunity. Although the loans definitely give you pause, they also have first set them on such a generous time frame to repay them and given you such room to make money from, say, new ships you might purchase or build, to put fees on the trade as appropriate, that it's possible, with or without their direct activity, you might be able to pay them off all the same. So, yeah, it was...
Assuming I actually accept the loans.
Yes. So in any case, it looks as though the deal was agreeable to you, and you were getting set to accept it on this day. Elsewhere, the crew is finding ways to rest and go about the day, try to get their bearings. For Traven, that meant the opportunity to explore a little, to test his scientific, or like some of it, pursue more scientific hobbies, let's say. It also meant a chance encounter with with the daughter of the House of Cord, or very particular, the Tabok's daughter, Toy Wheat, who, much to the doctor's befuddlement, happens to be a Hemhoch, the traditional ridged Klingon of a sort, which shouldn't be possible given that both parents were Kohach, those of the Klingons we basically would have seen in the original series, who were marked by the plague of Kuvat some years back. So, perhaps most troublingly, that the Doctor and Azek in particular have encountered is the case of their prisoner, by the name of Nogri, who has let slip that his people have had dealings with the Shotlalth before, and that they did not go well for them. As you were trying to investigate some of those leads, you came across some very troubling information, although unrelated to that. Fragments of distress calls that came out and that tied to places you had been in the past, but the one I think that we should play here, and that sets kind of where our last scene was, it happened on the bridge whilst the chief engineer, Raldar, was present, and he had taken some effort to clear up receiving this signal. Which, for you guys, I am playing this in the Roll20, so if you have that muted, then just be advised that's where the audio is.
This is YIleH of the House of Kulorn. My banner fleet has met in battle with House Smog over the world of Hol Samar. These first weeks have been ours, but victory has cost us many brave souls and supplies, and they have many more of both. I do not know how long my forces can withstand theirs, but I will fight until the end. My message may not be heard in time for forces to come and change the course of battle, but glory awaits us as we face down a death worthy of song. Let all who are true and loyal to the House Kulorn show their valor in this hour, and join us in the struggle.
And it was that which has prompted our last exchange of the session. Tabok, a signal from your chief engineer. He needs to have a conversation with you. So, let's go ahead and pick back up from there. Tabok, if I recall, I think you had headed back to the manor already at this point.
I was, if I recall correctly, I was getting ready to go back to I don't think I had left yet.
No, because you had walked and talked with your brother.
Right. Yep. Thank you.
Yeah. So
yeah,
there was
I'm home.
There was need to signal you. There was need to signal you from the ship.
Yep.
Yeah, you've received the message from Raldar. You received a rambling report from Azek about the Creole nonsense. Honestly, I think the question comes is, would you want to move somewhere, or Do you need time to think about it? If the captain takes time to think about it, Raldar, do you just want to beam in as close as you can and walk the rest of the way?
Yeah.
I think I might pull Fiat and just say, just allow you to beam in somewhere into the settlement and walk from there. If there's no objection there, Sean.
No, I don't have a problem with that.
No, all right.
I like my officers to show a little initiative.
Yeah. Okay.
We need to go to war zone now.
So, Tabak, well, we'll meet up with you in a moment. I think that the first shot of the adventure will take us into, it will take us back to the exterior shot of Mektor here. I'll switch us over on the map. So we get the exterior panning shot, and there's a fairly, well, I wouldn't quite say bustling part of town. There's not really any place in this area that quite does that, but a relatively active area. A few merchants, at least ready to hawk their wares in case of the nearest person to come by. It is mostly the savant, the sort of a sort of feudal working class of sorts, although in roles that the Empire traditionally deems honorable, or at least Klingon society. It's a relatively sedate segment compared to most places you've probably been, or what you would think of in a bustling city. There's also the ever-present watch of a single, very large Norwegian forest cat, the fauna long since imported to this world, and that is a specialty of House Cord. None of it is entirely prepared, or it's very much out of the way, when an 8-foot-tall Gorn materializes in the midst of the relatively empty street, dressed in, if I remember correctly, it is your old Klingon uniform.
Yeah, so the old KDF uniform.
Yes. So, there's a moment's pause as everything, as all the eyes collectively go to you, Raldar, and it's a look you're somewhat used to, of something strange eyeing you, or rather something eyeing you and thinking you strange. But they go back to their business pretty much, all except for the kitten who had no business to tend to and just continues to look at you.
All right.
Yeah. So, from there it is a pretty, it's a pretty short walk. It still requires you to make a detour or two through a side street in order to get around to the entrance of the Great Citadel at the center. That would be on the screen for those, let's see it, the large, slightly rounded shape in the center of the town. The guards at this point have at least become accustomed to you and your sort, so the members of the Jan's crew, so they willingly allow you to pass. Tabak, would you prefer to be out on the grounds when Raldar comes in, or would you rather this be inside? We don't really have different scenes, I think, for that. It would just be for narrative sake.
Yeah, no, I don't mind being out on the grounds. Paylock hasn't been home for a very long time, so he'd be wanting to walk around and see how things are falling apart.
Yep. Amidst the wear and tear, you find that the next most reliable hand on your ship, in terms of someone you could count on to fix things, a hand that you could rely on almost as much as your own, at least in your estimation, is shuffling towards you.
Is there a problem on the ship?
No, not directly. It's more personal, familial.
Familial? Oh, explain.
We picked up a transmission on the yawn, and it was from my uncle.
Your uncle?
Yes.
What is he doing here?
He is, him in the house's fleet is currently engaged in battle,
Uh-huh.
and they have called for aid from any member of the house.
Against whom do they fight?
It was, GM, what was the name of the world again? In orbit of,
So they, based on the message, they were engaged against House Mog, one of the major, well, they're just shy of a great house, I would say, in terms of their standing. They very much aspire to be that. And they are in the process of a major feud with House Katoch. One which you very nearly got caught up in when you were trying to evade a cruiser that extorted you.
Oh, were those the ones that were in the nebula?
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Ones we only survived because we were clever.
I am, and due to the nature of this, I am willing to compensate you for transportation at the very least.
You need to leave? Is what you were saying?
Yes, I need to repay what I owe to the house, to my house.
We will get you there. I have a meeting shortly where I can possibly finalize the deal with the guild. You need to go immediately?
Nice. The amount of time, I do not know. I do not think your meeting would interfere too much. I know I'm already asking enough of you, Captain.
Baldar, you are not Klingon. But I consider you a friend. I have to be at the meeting. But I will let Azek know that he may take the ship and you to get to where you need to be. Will that be sufficient?
That will be sufficient, yes. I will let my house know of your aid. They may repay the debt, hopefully, at some point.
Raldar, after everything you have done to keep the yawn afloat, there is no debt. This is me paying back the debt I feel I owe you.
My thanks, Captain.
So I hit the little button to call the ship.
Yeah, let me fire up the soundboard for you.
Oh, okay.
This is Jan.
Jan, this is Tabak. I need to speak with Azek.
Oh, okay. One moment, Captain. A few moments, and then as it comes on the line.
You rang.
Yes, Azek.
This is Azek.
Azek, Raldar needs to be elsewhere off-world. You have my permission to take the Jan and bring him to where he needs to be. I will temporarily transfer all of the fail-safes to you, so there will be no problems with the ship. Get him where he needs to go, and then come back.
Okay. Sounds good. Do you want us to grab anything while we're out?
No, that will be all.
Roger that. Thank you.
Close that off. Turn to Raldar. Good hunting, my friend.
I wish you victory in your battle in this meeting.
Die well if you have to die. Otherwise, come back.
I do not intend to die. But it would be a glorious one.
Off you go. Hopla.
Kapla.
Okay. And with that, the two of you part. So... Oh dear, things are going down on the Discord. Let's see. Let us, I guess, cut... Well, figuring out the sequence of scenes here from this point. Raldar's...
if you want to switch over to them for a while and deal with the trip, I am cool with that.
That trip is going to be much longer than the last part of this session. It is not a plot tumor growing off of this, Sean.
Okay. Just trying to help.
That's episode 6.
Ladies and
Yes.
gentlemen, you can expect a beach episode very soon.
Oh no! Stop that. We're
Oh,
not
there
going-
will be a beach. They
We're
say
not
that
going-
war is a beach.
We're not going to Ryza, okay?
It's going to be Normandy. The other beach.
Well, at least it's not you. Normandy, great. Can we at least just make sure it's Utah Beach?
I make no promises.
All right.
In any case, let's see. So, we can, however, wait to let you seal the deal with the Shotlouth, but that the final decision will be in this session, or we'll be asking on that, or at least the scene there. Otherwise, we've got, Raldar going back to the ship. Anything that the rest of you would want to do on the Yon, for those of you that are there. For those of you that aren't, or want to leave the Yon to do things, well, by all means let me know. I think for the moment, just as a reminder for everyone else, last session saw everybody else on the ship eating and being there for the captain's announcement. Very particularly that he planned to, once the deal went through, planned to step back and manage things a little more and spend more time at home whilst the Yon could continue operating in service of House Cord under somebody else's command.
That someone being Adam.
Yes. So, at this point, I think the only person that didn't bother to... No, the doctor was actually at that meeting. Let's just go down the line here, so I think that's the best way to go about it. Rev, what do you think Kresic is up to in those hours afterwards?
Prepping.
Good. Ray, I'm pretty sure we know, we've talked about what's going on with Woe, so we won't bother asking that question yet.
I know Xynel and Ensign Cupcake are supposed to be digging up dirt on this guild.
We could have a...
Did you say Ensign Cupcake?
Yes, I did.
I don't know whether
Okay.
he's talking about Croker or Vopri. I kind of think it's Vopri, though.
It's Croker because Betty Crocker.
I knew it was Croker.
Get it? It's a cooking baking
Yeah.
joke.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, gotcha.
Okay, well...
You do.
Appa-
Come on,
apparent-
it's bad enough when I make bad jokes and give the GM threat.
Apparently...
Now
Yeah.
listen, your
Everybody's
jokes
doing
are
it.
dirty. Your jokes are dirty. This was a perfectly good little.
Well, they're either dirty or they're just puns.
Well,
The more horrible or the better.
apparently my brain is just a non-stick surface to Rev's cooking-related jokes, so I apologize.
But
Well,
yes, you're right. Croker is still scheming with Zion.
yes. So we can go back to the ship for a little more there. Otherwise, let's go down the list. Isaac, would you want any particular scenes, or what do you think he would be up to right now?
Just trying to plot a course out of the sector wherever Crescent needs us to go.
Copy that.
It's not
That could,
Dressic, it's Raldar.
Rather, sorry.
it's like what we're
Come
not,
on, just they don't all look the same.
we're
Actually, no. I'm kidding.
They're Gorn.
wait a minute. We're not going to Gordon space, but I had a course plotted and everything. Are you sure?
Kretic limped a little faster.
Limping
We
intensifies.
just call them Gorn 1 and Gorn 2, like Thing 1 and Thing 2 from.
When did Isaac become so racist? This power has really gone to his head.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, Klingons.
Klingons, am I right?
What can I say? I found a Klingon version of Dr. Seuss in Tabok's secret library there in his house, and I just got curious.
The minds of children, so impressionable.
Oh Lord.
Moving away from that, Traven, what do you think you would be up to in these hours since then? After you found out that a meal was delivered to your Creel, or to the Creel diner / prisoner.
Preparing for the next meal, probably.
Good. So
I will probably be running into, not physically, but running into Traven at some point in time. But it doesn't have to be right now.
okay, then how about we go tentatively? We can have some stuff go on aboard the bridge, like dealing with the both Isaac prepping the ship to go, and then some of the lower deckers basically working out or trying to pick up some sense of what's going on there. Kresic and Traven can have a chat after that scene, and then we can possibly follow on with that. If anything needs to come back to the captain, we'll get to that, or we'll let that intersect naturally. And Raldar, obviously, when you want to be back in the scene, or if you think that there'd be some relevance, I am happy to bring the character back in. Sound good?
Yep. Moving over to the ship.
All right. So then we find ourselves on the bridge. Croker, I'll say that if you want to be on the scene, then you can have returned after helping to beam Raldar away. I guess you would want to be there for purposes of helping find out about the Shotloth's Guild's dealings.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I do not remember the contents of your last conversation with Isaac, because I know there's something else going on there. It was great.
I have no. I don't think I even talked to Isaac. Did I?
Maybe Isaac was just talking idly and you were standing there. I don't know.
I know he insulted Betty. I think that was the last real conversation I had, but I don't remember why.
Yep. So we'll go back to where things were. At this point, Vopri has received orders from Isaac on the message from the captain. Isaac, do you need my assistance to plot the course, or would you be able to manage from the helm station?
I should be able to manage from the helm, I think.
Okay.
But I thank you. Keep our eyes to the sky. See if there's anything that might get in our way.
And I suppose I will continue to help these bunch, he says, gesturing over to Zional and Croker.
Yes, that would be most appreciated.
I am not sure what you want me to look for, or I don't exactly know where we would find suspicious information regarding this guild.
Let me take care of that, my friend, as I put a reassuring hand on his back.
Vopri is not reassured.
So reassured.
Nobody would be reassured.
I would be reassured.
I just need to chat with some friends, that's all. Some old friends.
Okay. It's good to over.
You can make sure the communications are sufficient, right?
You want me to just boost the signal? That is the only concern?
Yeah, and if there's anything you can do to make it secure, I guess you could do that. But I mean, I don't want to tax you. You work so hard on this ship. As I slip him another Darsek from Croker's never-ending pocketbook. I just slip him another couple Darseks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will see what I can do. Opening handling frequencies with secure channel. Do you have a better idea of the party, or would you want to enter in the particular frequencies we'd be looking at?
All right, so this is a question to you, Mr. GM.
Mm-hmm.
Where would Zional think that he would get the most damning information on this group? Would it be his supply chains that he used to use? That Orion lady at the planet and her information network? Or any old contacts he might have back in home space?
There are some spicy choices there.
Yes.
So, I'll tell you what. For one thing, I think I am going to ask Sean, just drop one momentum just by virtue of the fact it's been a little while, and I should be better about enforcing the dropping momentum, if not once every scene, at least once a session. But I think I will ask for an additional point of momentum just to obtain that information, to give you a sense of what things might... the vaguest possible sense on what directions things might go.
I am okay with this. Give me the juiciest secrets.
There you go, done.
Okay, so it seems likely that, what you know of the Empire's underbelly, or all of the things that happen in the shadows, so that people may act with the strongest of air quotes honor. It's possible someone incriminating could manage that. Your supply networks, they encompass a lot of private actors, some Klingons, some non-Klingons that are put to work. I imagine that you might have some contacts among others that the Klingons would simply regard the conquered, the vanquished, the Jig Pui. Easy to grease their wheels when they are in such destitution otherwise. Let's see. The Orions, that's a strong possibility that if there were any sort of corrupt deals or things that might be embarrassing about the house or that would be less savory, they strike you as the first ones. So that's obviously got something there. A home space, that for one probably might scare Zion all the most, but it also may promise some exceptionally interesting information. If a Klingon were working in that, any Klingons were working in that area.
All right, fine friends of honor.
I think I'm going to say that you must pick one.
Yes, I will.
Or rather, you can only pick one.
Yes, yeah. Do we want to go with the safe bet of the Orions, and I say safe loosely, or the spicy bet of back home?
Spicy.
What do you mean by back home? Dare I?
Romulan space? Question mark?
Excuse me? God, TTRPG is a horrible, horrible, horrible judge of character.
Listen. How many Klingons have seen a Riemann?
None. None. I'm pretty sure at this point in history, none.
And if they have, I doubt they live to tell the tale. Because they were so far into Romulan space that,
Well, it's not like the Remans actually got out all that much.
No, they like caves. It is too bright in here.
Don't give me your best Slavic impression.
I am so torn as to whether I'm going to edit this out later for a more dramatic reveal or keep it in just for Sean to acknowledge how routinely TTRPG is a horrible judge of character.
I would just leave it in.
Leave it in. I like
more comedic that way.
Fair enough.
I feel like honestly the more thematic one would be to go to the Orions. Because this is a commerce house. What does everybody else think?
I think the choice is entirely up to you because it's you getting the information.
I always like to leave these potentially spicy choices and see if anybody else has any takes, though. I don't want to, screw somebody over.
I said spicy just because I enjoy drama. But,
I know you do.
I'm built different. Incorrectly,
I don't like
some might say.
taking.
You pick.
Okay.
You pick.
I do actually have a bit of a bone to pick with the Orion lady. Anyways, so I would probably reach out to her back on the planet. What was her name again? The one that owned the House of Pleasures or whatever that place was called.
Yes,
the Traven Don't Go There.
The Den of Iniquities.
Room. Yes.
The Traven Don't Go There.
Yeah. So let's see. Actually, I'm trying to find that now because that is a character sheet. I know I had. It's I'm pretty sure the name was like Dasana, but I'm having trouble locating her. Yes, Dasana. So
Dasana. Definitely somebody that I would have interacted with.
Most assuredly.
On the relatively regular.
Mm-hmm.
So I would... I don't know, does she have a business line and a personal line?
I think so. I think you'd know which line to go for.
Right. So I'll pass Vopri the information to connect to the line, to call.
Yep. He shrinks a little bit as he realizes the general orientation of that signal, given that you all had just so recently escaped Zethlor. But he'll, minding the jingle of... Go ahead.
It's fine, my friend. If they really wanted to hunt us down, they would have sent somebody after us. You think she didn't know that we made it off-world?
I suppose you have a point. This was not my idea if it does come back on us.
Of course it's not your idea. It was our idea. We're a team.
Oh, opening hailing frequencies.
And Vopri is going to roll to make this as secure as possible, so anyone that could be listening on the other line will have to beat a difficulty of 2. That can actually be assisted by the ship. If anyone wants to roll communications plus engineering, or wait, no, it would be communications plus engineering for the ship.
Getting on that. Communications and engineering, you said, yes?
Yes. Okay, difficulty.
Classic yawn.
Yeah, the ship just doesn't want to help.
Yep. At some point, we'll switch things up from skeleton crew. Things to talk about after. The line, after you set up the appropriate signaling, you manage to get a secure line. And you don't necessarily have a visual. I won't fiat that on you, but on the display, a signal registers that the line on the other end becomes secure as you have a transmission from Zethlor. Well, can't say I was expecting a signal from this ship so soon at the very least, but if anyone was going to survive on that, I'm not surprised it was you.
Desana, dearest, how have you been since you sold our information to the highest bidder?
I merely facilitated a transaction, and I would say that things have gotten at least a little easier. The local militia parties have been, a little more reticent to act. I honestly think that the valley's dying and will probably be moving out to one of the more island settlements at this point.
That is just lovely to hear. If you run across a couple of Nausicaans looking for someone like me, if you would be so kind as to point them the other direction. I may have made some promises to them on our way out.
Of course. Yep, for the proper fees, I can make a lot of things happen.
That's what I like about you. You are just a businesswoman.
Indeed. And you, it is our common language.
Of course. Now, I would love to just sit and chat about the good times before I was on the run from, 3, 4 different governments? But, speaking of business, I have some information that I would like to pick your brains over.
And what, my dear Zionol, are you looking for today?
What's the name of the guild again?
The Shotloth Guild.
The Shotloth Guild.
Looking to go legitimate, are we?
Well, it never hurts to have a foot on each end, just in case you need to jump back and forth. But I highly doubt they are everything they claim to be.
Well, no, they're at least not terribly likely to go into business with you.
Unfortunate. I could get them a fine deal on Tholian silks.
So, what exactly is it that you're looking for about them?
Ways that I could politely and quietly influence negotiations from a third party from a third party advocate side, if you understand what I'm saying.
If you're trying to pull, if you're working on behalf of the Shopmouth, then I would say that they are, depends more on the local actor that they want to try to strangle in this case. But if you're trying to work against them, well, I don't know how much I can give you. I mean, they obviously we have our own contacts with them. Others in the syndicate. I can say there's been a little bit more of a stranglehold with some of that of late.
Oh?
It's more questions on our end at this point.
I see. I won't pry about your business unless it suits me.
Well, truly, it's not so much my decisions on the business there. I don't particularly have that much of a problem with the guild personally. It's more just, let's just say, it's been one muscling in more on the, or trying to muscle in a little more on the operations of the syndicate in this section of space. Tell me, are you familiar with the name Lantern Herx?
Am I familiar with the name Lantern Herx?
Give me a reason plus command. Call this difficulty of... I'll still say it's a 2, but it's easier than...
Any of my focuses apply equipment requisition, negotiation, or assassination.
Strictly speaking, I'm not sure that one of them quite works, but I'm going to give you the focus anyway, just by virtue of your mode of operation. Special case here.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, at 2 successes, Herx, you would know, is an up-and-comer. You'd recognize the name as an up-and-comer in the Syndicate. Somebody who is extremely, powerful. He's become extremely powerful within the Syndicate's operations. Particularly... you gather it's been more over the past few decades. He's an older dude at this point, but he's been steadily ascending. After the Syndicate's operations outside the Empire, you vaguely know they've undergone some difficult times with that other power, Galactic North, let's say. The Vulcan Club, as it were. Vaguely, they've had some troubles, and that as some parts of the Orions have seen a downturn, other agents are starting to assert themselves more. Herx is one of the rare dudes to actually pick up some of that power. You know him only vaguely by reputation for ruthlessness and for being a relatively jealous figure, I would say. There are rumors vaguely that he doesn't take kindly to people playing with his things.
Isn't he the one that blew up his own interceptors because they were flying a bit too well in formation with him?
That sounds about right. Some of us would enjoy a slightly freer trade with the guild, or rather to set up more deals as such, but they've not been quite so... Herx has not been quite so receptive, and he has an increasing influence in these operations.
Interesting. And why does the more forward-thinking have an interest in working with the guild?
Well, some of it we know that, well, for those that are more traditional in their ways, they don't mind the transfer. They don't mind the transfer of any good, be it basic cargo machinery or the occasional batch of people. The guild and its partners, as with many in Klingon society, don't necessarily object to using those they enslave. Others still just see it as a good opportunity to make a bit of money and perhaps even a means of going somewhat legitimate themselves. The one thing that can be said for the juHDaq Guild pretty universally is that if you're going to do business in the Empire, they are one of the factors you have to consider.
How many independents have they taken out in the last, say, 10 years?
Well, I'd have to think here. For the most part, they've waged, well, what would be considered fairly aggressive commercial means of combat, and they have come out over a number of houses, although that just largely meant they'd become part of the guild. Oh, what is that? I think that I guess there's one other story I would know of.
And, of course, this story cost, what, time and a half?
At least. I'm looking for the transfer on the usual line, but I haven't seen it come through. You might want to recheck the transmission on your end.
Well, I believe that can be arranged. My fortunes are looking up these days. As I toss a wink to Croker.
Yep. And one more point of momentum's worth of Darsex.
Can I roll a negotiation check?
I'll let you do that. It will
to
be
try
contested.
to secure some. Yes.
Yep. Let's call this,
presence and command?
Yes. Against her control plus command.
Alrighty. I'm going to spend my value to hopefully to auto crit on this.
I need to look back over that value of yours.
The value that I would like to use is until a better offer comes along, protect your meal ticket.
Ah, very good, very good.
Because I am doing this because I don't want to get involved with the juHDaq Guild. Because that big companies are sketchy.
Okay, yeah, I would accept that, so that will give you the automatic critical success.
And my focus in negotiation comes into play?
Definitely. Okay, you roll 2 successes, and with the automatic critical success, you have a total of 4 successes. That goes against Asana's 2 successes, so you manage not only to beat, but you actually manage to earn back 2 points of momentum, to which she thinks about and says, I'll reduce the cost. I'll consider this the family and friends discount.
I was going to consider it the you almost killed me discount, but family and friends works.
Yeah. Frankly, I wouldn't put so much stock in the information anyway. I mean,
I'll take what I can get.
The Creole do tend towards rumor as much as anything else. It's hard to know exactly whether what's coming out of them is actually of any value. It's an older one as well, but the Creole ceased most work with the juHDaq Guild. I want to say somewhere along the lines of perhaps about 22, 23 years prior. They were developing a colony world in a relatively barren segment of the Empire. Apparently the Shotmouth, they attempted to arrange some sort of trading relationship and establishing some sort of merchant hub, but it's on the proviso of considerable lands and industrial construction. If the rumors are to be believed, there's some sort of accident, either due to poor management or perhaps some among the Creel think it was intentional, but it more or less poisoned the atmosphere to the point of uninhabitability. The Creel had no resources after expending so much to terraform the planet.
How long did it take to terraform the planet?
Well, if memory serves, it had been a project of the Creel for almost a decade prior to that. As they were nearing their final stages, I don't think the Shotmouth were operating on the planet for much more than 6 months before the incident happened.
Interesting.
I think they might still actually have their refueling operation out there.
Oh, they turned it into a refueling station, oh? Eh?
Well, that's at least what the maps suggest. They are always looking for new places to lay down antimatter reactors, and, well, I make it a point to never visit worlds where the Klingon refine antimatter.
It sounds dangerous.
Too many poor safety protocols. The grade of antimatter they tend to produce is just dreadful compared to what some might import, she says.
And there's no handrails, and the extra cement mixtures. I understand. This has been most interesting. What? Just one last question. If you could keep your ears open for many things, anything that you might hear about this guild, I am happy to give you however much is required for an advantage over them. And of course, it'll be untraceable. Your name is as safe as always.
I'll keep that in mind, and I'll give you one more bit of information for free. This more speaks to your own survival, because I have noticed the code paired with this, and I can guess where you might be, or at least where you might be broadcasting from vaguely. A note, once again, on Lantern Herx. Herx is extremely meticulous about every single deal he sets up, and even those that operate under him. When something doesn't go his way, he is extremely put off.
Are we in his lawn?
Not as pertains to the Shotmouth Guild. But I would watch your back.
Yes. Let's see. Well, it's been lovely catching up with you. I would love to see you again in person, but I doubt I'll be welcome there again, so if I manage to make my way back, I will see you, but otherwise, this will have to be as much contact as we have from time to time. And the credits are coming through now.
Pleasure doing business, Lionel.
The pleasure is all yours. And he cuts the line.
I don't like the sound of any of that.
I don't like the sound of any of that at all. The only thing worse than a war is corporate war. What do you think, Crooker?
How do we go about telling the captain?
I usually use words.
Yes, and you do it beautifully. I think you should be the one to tell him.
I'll see what I can do. But it might be better coming from someone with... Well, let's be honest, someone with a captain's respect, so neither of us.
Azek!
They look over at Azek, who's busy tapping away at the computer controls and navigating the route.
The moment somebody says my name, I alt-tab to the working screen, and what was previously there was Galaga. Yes?
That's
May
a
we
hard
have a
game to
word?
play with one hand.
I disagree.
What is it did you ask of me?
We need someone
He
to talk to the
shoves the
captain.
Zynal forward.
We need someone to talk to the captain. And he's not going to listen to either of us. You know that as well as I do. You hardly listen to me.
Oh, I'm listening to you now. I turn my chair and look straight at you.
Excellent. So here's the problem. This guild that the captain is signing on with, and certain members of syndicate factions may have disagreements.
What kind of disagreement?
Well, I don't know the specifics because I was not given the specifics in order to ensure my information networks continue to flow properly. But signing a deal with one will probably nullify a deal with the other.
And I'm assuming the one that the captain is currently engaged with is the death wish for the other.
Probably. Either way, the results could get messy, but I doubt that mess will be directed toward the guild.
Will this,
No one wants to attack, official Klingon business.
Does this endanger the House of Cord at all?
I don't know, but it sounds possible.
Well, yeah, it sounds kind of like we're getting knee deep in Targ sludge.
At the very least, the captain needs to be made aware of it. And if he heard it from me, he would probably think I'm just trying to alter the deal in my favor.
Well, I tell you what, write a report and basically about everything you just told me, and I'll bring it to the captain as that it's the concerns are being raised with me that affect his house, and I promise to honor his house and try to elevate his house. So if this is a risk to that, then yeah, write a report and we'll send it to the captain, signed from both of us, and he'll make a decision as what to go from there, I guess.
Yes, lovely, of course. Croker, shall we get to writing this report?
Yes, we shall. Croker is exceptionally tired at this point and slightly hungover.
Excellent. While we're going, I can tell you about some of my fascinating theories about, well, many things.
Okay. Hang on.
I don't know.
Crooker squares his shoulders, gently places a hand upon Lionel's shoulder, looks him in the eyes, and says,
For once, I think it would be best if you didn't talk. At least for now.
He's confused. Okay. And sets off toward the back area of the bridge to start compiling this report.
Okay. So
Crooker follows him, but yeah.
Starts thinking about current economic trade routes and how this whole potential corporate battleground could influence things. Not too happy with it, but interested, because that's where profit can be made.
Of course. Yeah. So, as the two of you start to put together that information and try to work things out there, let's see here. I think I'll take one moment just to note whoever is the new subscriber. I cannot see it, but I thank you anyway. I think somebody did that whilst this was going on, because it was 2 earlier and it's 3 now. So just a flat thanks. Glad you are enjoying, and yes, we'll keep doing this for you. So let's see here. Going along from there. Let's see. I know Traven, we talked about a scene with Traven and Kresic, but I can understand, Rev, if you'd like a few minutes to rest scene-wise.
That would be fantastic.
So let's see. I guess, Azek, you can have the opportunity to roll and do more to look at the route there. I would want to figure out if there was anyone else to offer in terms of, what's the word I'm thinking of? Ways to bring other people into scenes, as it were. So, let's think here. I'll set that on the list for a moment. Caligo, real quick, did you want anything for Raldar to do as he gets back to the ship? Would he want to interact with anyone in particular before heading off? Or not?
Dar.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay, we can.
some reason to interact with him.
Yeah. We can definitely run a Dar scene here in just a moment. And to be clear, you are not all heading off just yet. The ship needs to be prepared, and as Azek is running the work on, I'll say, Azek, if you want, just for a little bit more momentum, you can give me a con plus, let's call it con plus, wait a minute. There is a specific navigation roll. I'm pretty sure that it is, charting a course like this would be reason plus con, is what I'm looking for. Assisted by the ship's computers in con.
Using my piloting focus.
That would absolutely come into play. It looks like it usually happens at a difficulty of 3. I'll cut it down to 1 because you are not, necessarily worrying about hazards, and you're able to, say, from Mektor, you are able to at least like compare with recent navigational charts and whatnot. So, simplifying things for you a little bit.
We appreciate the simplification.
Okay. You can get an assist from the ship with con and I'll say computers in this case to process the most recent information. I think it's usually con plus sensors otherwise.
And as usual, the ship does nothing.
Yep.
Cranky beast, this thing.
I blame whoever
Classic
messed with
yawn.
it the last time.
I mean, if we were playing Warhammer 40k, I'd say the machine spirit is angry, but you know.
Well,
I mean, the yawn might have a machine spirit. Paranormal phenomenon.
Yep. We haven't established whether Betty has left or not. This could be Betty making the day more difficult.
She never did.
Yep. Oh, a whole other thing.
For those watching at home, keep in mind that the Star Trek Adventures is a roll low system, so we want to make sure we want those D20s to stay away from any of the high numbers. The lower the better, which is a little different than your traditional dice throwing game. So.
Copy that.
GM,
For those of you not watching at home, it's the same.
Yeah. What were you saying there, Cheesy?
Don't forget to hydrate.
Yes, I've missed the. I haven't seen the update yet, so I'll. Or nobody spent the Quatloos yet, but I will do that all the same. So while that's going, Azek, I will say the course such that it is showing up to you. This world, Hol Shemar, is I would say, like it is at quite some distance. There's the hydrate spend. The world is at quite some distance. It is going to be, depending on how fast you're going to go, it's going to be a fair bit of hauling to go basically what would be further to the towards the western frontier. If you'd imagine your map of the Klingon Empire and you think of like the relatively northern stretch of it, such as, we assign the cardinal points, of course. The area of space where, on a two-dimensional map, it looks like the Federation, the Romulan, and the Klingon Empires would meet. We are at a point not quite, like, as far as the tip of that, but we're kind of near the Federation side right now. It would seem that you would essentially be going further away from that part and out towards toward an end of the Empire, a fringe that is nearer a great expanse of subspace phenomena and other difficult places to navigate, such that it has inhibited the Empire's ability to expand, obviously combined with the other political perils of recent years. It is still within Klingon space, this world you would be going for, but it is kind of on the other end. At the very least, it cuts across some subspace currents in ways that would make warp drive a little less feasible, so it would slow you down. If there's battle to be joined, there's a good chance you would miss it.
Okay.
So.
Easy enough.
Yeah. So as you're calculating that, waiting... Go ahead.
I send that data over to Bowfry to verify everything and just kind of make sure that he's on board with it.
Yep. Yeah. Also, for whomever... a quick thank you, as an aside, to Skin Biscuits for following. Welcome aboard. We hope you're enjoying our Star Trek adventures, and we're gonna keep at it for you. So let's see. As all of you set about your work and get on the very bureaucratic bits of keeping the starship going, Excuse me. Let's take a quick scene with Raldar and Dar to interact, and then we can either check in with Traven or Traven and Kresic, or Captain, if there's anything else you'd want to do before we have before meeting with the Shotmouth, then give you a chance. But let's see. For now, we'll go back to Theater of the Mind, and into the bowels of the Yawn, where Raldar, you have made it back to the ship. You've re-entered. It seems that the transporter operator Croker was not in a good position to beam you back out, so you had to walk. It's a bit of a slow process, but extended out to your full height, you can cover distance a little faster than you would have been able to on the ship, hunched over so as not to injure your head. You make it back to the Yawn, taking the little service elevator up. You find that the ship is still mostly repaired, or had most of the replacement bits of hull and whatnot there, though it seems that the ground crews are refueling the ship now. It's good on one hand, but it does mean that you're going to have to wait a little longer for the Yawn to actually be able to take off if they've only just started now.
It's fine.
Yeah. But it does leave you some time as we enter the Theater of the Mind. It does leave you the time to take the elevator up to the crew deck and into the closet that has become, well, not quite closet, the emptied room that has become Dar's quarters, for lack of a better term.
Nice.
Yeah. You open
Audrey gets the closet.
Yes. You open the door and find that the one that bears your face, yet distorted in a sense, who is much larger by virtue of the genetic engineering of a mad Klingon's ghost, or ghost of the machine, as it were. Presently, Dar grumbles in one corner. It seems as though it has been pacing around. It looks to you.
I have come to tell you what you are to expect soon. Soon there will be battle, and soon you may meet the others that we shall call family. They may not look favorably upon you. That is something you will merely get used to. But if you do, you'll have plenty to hunt and eat and kill, and plenty of meat that you so desire.
Gabagool.
I'm going to assume you understand.
It just... Dar will kind of tense and, give its best, kind of flexing or, stretching out in a kind of predatory attitude. Just growl a bit more.
Pain.
Pain. You will see clear skies soon enough. Wrapped at the cold steel of this ship,
directive.
Oh my god.
No, you can't do this. You can't.
You took him away.
I couldn't
It's
help
mine
it.
now. Their directive will be battle in the honorable way. Thus, we will be training more. I need to make sure you are ready to meet your granduncle, your other uncles, and aunts.
Pray.
And you will learn which is prey.
You're not entirely certain whether Raldar is getting everything, although he's the small bits of speech that he's picked up seems to some of it's like I don't know. It works out. Well, some of it is becoming a little more understandable, though sometimes you're never certain what the man is saying. In this case, you can pick up a little more of his meaning. So he seems to draw from your words the sense that it's as if he kind of understands that a fight is coming, and something about him on a primal level relishes that.
How many more training sessions do I need before I actually control my own secondary character?
If you're dropping him in this next episode, then you can definitely run him.
I see.
I just wouldn't count on necessarily him being like completely coherent.
I see.
So we'll find. I trust your ability to run him with the intermix.
It'll be fine.
Yes. So, but yes, the Dar will look on, ready to savor whatever's to come. But yeah, I suppose since you are here and since the ship isn't ready for startup or won't be anytime soon, would you take the time to give him more lessons?
Yes.
Very good.
He needs them.
I'll tell you what, I'll let you count this as an activation for Dar then. So if he's not already open to you at this point, I will let you give him a talent value or focus. So you can take the time to think about that here and decide whether it's something that you want to help him interact with crew a little more, impulse control or basic language skills, or if you want to make him more lethal.
Language deals would be nice. Is that represented if I bump up his fucking reason or insight?
That would kind of work, I think. And I do think
Make him more dangerous. Make him more dangerous.
Make him more dangerous. I don't know how. I don't know if I can make him more dangerous.
Yes, you can. Get the talent. Get the Gorn talent.
The Dorn talent.
You can always make him more dangerous.
Oh my God.
I'll send you the Gorn talent.
He doesn't yet have mean right hook or martial artist.
No. He needs carnivorous reptilian physiology.
Oh my lord.
He's already kind of got a weird physiological talent by virtue of being a clone.
Yeah.
That he did come
right,
with.
but
I see.
Kresic, isn't that one that ability that talent also just called nom 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 nom?
That's what they call it on Gornar.
Ah, okay.
He already has something like that.
Okay. But you can give him another one.
Oh my God.
While all that's going on, first let me ask there, Sean, would you want it to do anything before before the shot scene comes around, or do you still want a little more? Would you like a little more time, or not have anything in mind?
I don't have necessarily anything in mind.
Okay. In that case, I think that we will stop by the mess hall and allow Traven and Kresic their scene if you guys are both good for that.
All right.
Ready, Freddy.
Yeah. I said Kresic this time. I did not mean Raldar, so...
Look at that. Proud of you.
Anyway. So, let's see. Traven, as you are trying to plot out based on whom will show up for this next meal here, try to figure out what you need to prepare, what size dish would be adequate for service. I think that the door we'll just say that the door opens at that point, and you find that you might already have somebody coming to seek your services. Specifically,
Doc.
The other Gorn, yes.
I walk in. I have a big bag, 2 big bags. One of them I set down, and the other one I take, and I walk toward Draven.
Okay.
Draven.
What's in the bag?
I plop it on the table, unzip it, and it is a series of vials and hypos. These ones are for Klingons. These ones for Gorn. This is for you. If anyone gets hurt, use these.
That's a lot.
You will probably need them.
I thought we were chilling here on the planet right now.
The ship is getting ready to leave.
Oh, where are we going?
I do not know, but I am not going.
Ah. Why?
The captain is staying.
Hate for it to sound like an echo. Why?
He has no protection. He is foolish and weak. He will get himself hurt. It is my job to protect.
If I may throw some insight, he wouldn't be very protected here either. Everywhere we go, we kind of just are in a dangerous situation, but I always thought our safety always relied on us being together.
The last time I thought matters were handled, the last time I chose not to join and protect and keep this crew safe. One person died, and 2 were lost. I do not lose my patience. Not again.
You do understand you're putting medical expertise into the hands of somebody who just cooks.
You're the only one that I trust with these. The others are just as likely to eat them as they are to use them.
I'll do my best. But if we're going into a situation where we're going to need all of this, we're going to need
I
it
doubt you'll
all.
need all of them, but I figured it would be better for you to have them and not need them.
So you're not staying for dinner?
If the ship leaves before dinner, then no.
Fair enough. That helps my situation a bit. All right. Yeah, I'll do everything you need.
Thank you. I am counting on you to keep them safe. Do not let me down.
Do my best not to.
Good.
So the doctor leaves, seemingly leaving you, Traven, with the responsibility of the health and well-being in ways beyond what you were anticipating. As if food was, meals can be difficult enough, that is. But now medical needs, apparently. At least until the captain hires somebody new. Not something you not an idea you revel in, I'm sure.
And he's gonna pick up the other satchel and head out to meet up with the captain.
Gotcha. Well then.
Did he tell the captain? No. Is he going anyways? Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, Kresic makes his way towards the manor. I think that we may well cut over there, and unless anybody has particular things to say or interject with, I think that we are going to cut a little more into the waxing hours of the day on Mektor. Captain, at this point, you are going over well, in this case, I want to say that between Croker and Zionol, the report they were able to synthesize and that bears the captain's, that bears Azek's signature. I'm going to say it was generally less rambled of a communication.
Yeah, the gist of it is that the thought, at least what Zionol is extrapolating from what he's learned, is that he thinks that the guild is using you and the house to bait this Orion Syndicate guy into acting. Basically, they're trying to expand into this guy's territory and are just going to use you as the collateral.
As in the collateral damage?
Yes. At least that's what he extrapolated from the information. Like it's the basic report, and then his synopsis of the report, what he thinks it means.
So we'll run our exterior shot of Mektor.
The establishing shot.
Yes, the establishing shot.
The matte screen upon which everything
Yep,
else
the
hinges.
matte painting to
Yep.
let everybody know when you come back from commercial or you've changed scenes that, yep, this is where you are.
Yes. Tabak, you gaze out from a... I'll allow that there's a place on the Citadel where you can look out on the settlement. So you'd kind of get the inverse view, or perhaps you are looking out over some of the other areas immediately around the settlement. For her part, Moratti has been busy coordinating with the some of the loyal retainers, and to ensure that there is an appropriate setup around the house, be it for a feast or just the pomp and circumstance commensurate with what your house would perform, as well as what the ceremony demands. Just trying to make sure everything is in keeping. Toy, you have not seen much of today. She's been. She is likely, you'd expect, to make an appearance later on. And then the other figure who's been about, also coordinating with some of your retainers and the household staff, would be Tabor, who, after your chat earlier in the day, seems to have made himself... he's been trying to make himself more useful and at least more present.
Not being sullen.
Yes.
It was, in fact, a face.
Indeed, indeed. Also, thank you, Panda, for the posture check and for the player advantage that's actually been created. Yes, Panda.
Hi, Panda.
Our good friend from the Star Trek Adventures Aegis game, the captain of that game as well, has thrown aside a bit of help. Just as a reminder, for those that want to join live streams on that, we air most Saturdays at 1 p.m. This Saturday being a special case where we will be doing some Starship Simulator. But yes, so you guys now, in addition to having this information, Tabak, you have an advantage that has been freely given to you by the audience here that you can use to your advantage, or if you want to open up the rest of the group to helping you figure something out, then you can create a small adjustment to the narrative.
Okay. Can I just hold on to that advantage for right now?
Yes, you do not have to use it right away. And indeed, if you guys want to talk about it in the Discord, then you're welcome to it. Yes, so you do have that. You have that report on hand. You have the household hasn't really paid it mind, or like everyone's doing their bit to set up. So that's just where we find you as you're mulling over this. You're also mulling over Azek's previous, much longer missive that hinted the Creel also had some opinions such that you care.
Mm. So yeah, I'm just sort of wandering about, thinking, probably looking concerned. And maybe a little disappointed and angry at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, might also be a little short-tempered, too.
Yes.
Occasionally yelling at staff when they get in his way.
Let's see who picks up on that a little bit sooner, just for fluffing purposes. Let's call that.
No, not for fluffing purposes. For fluff purposes. God.
Silence.
but also fluffy, if you know what I mean.
Well, you know, just for that, Morty is not going to pick it up. Your wife doesn't care.
She's probably just as stressed.
Yes.
More so.
Yeah.
Because she's the one organizing everything, and I'm just standing there.
Yep.
Menacingly.
But that's how Klingon households function.
So, as you shout at one of the household staff trying to arrange the banner in a means to your liking and not doing it quite as well, a presence comes up from behind you. Brother, I understand the difficulty of this situation, but the exacting nature could, well, let's just say your volume exceeds what I would think is necessary to the task.
Taybog looks around, see who's in the same room, and then takes Tobor, by the shoulder and just, directs him to a corner of the room or a bit of hallway that's away from everybody.
Yep. And a side area away from the main hall where servants aren't going to come through.
Right. I have new concerns, brother. I have been given news and information that I find disturbing concerning the Shutloth Guild.
This is quite a time to discover new information.
It is. I'm not happy that it took this time, nor am I happy that this information exists.
Well, speak plainly of it then.
The Shutloth Guild are in the middle of a feud. And we may be being used as bait in their feud.
They scarcely would attract the ire of the Great Council, or the Great Houses, or of the High Council, such as that they have any power. And can't imagine anyone smaller having capacity to do anything to us here.
I'm sorry, Mr. Yim, I cannot remember the name of the Orion.
The one that Desana mentioned.
Yeah.
Was that in Zional's
It
report?
was.
Okay.
It was.
Yeah.
Only where he got the information was not included in the report.
Gotcha. So it would be Lanton Herx. I'll put that in the chat there.
Do you know anything of a man, an Orion, named Lenton Herx?
Can't say that I have... outside of the handful of travelers that we necessarily have to engage with, I cannot say that I am familiar with them.
Before this morning, I've not heard of him either. But how he relates to the Shutloth Guild is concerning. He is the one, and his very large organization with whom the guild is having issue. And it is more than possible that they wish to goad him into a fight by appearing to try to steal his territory. And this may be ground zero for that fight.
That makes little sense. There's neither you or I have heard any word of them. The House of Cord has never done that scale of business with the Orions, and even if we were to sign this deal with the Shotmouth, then I can't see it. I could not see it changing how we necessarily do our business. Or if anything, it only gives us more of an inroad into their territory.
No, the territory is... The territory lies beyond the Empire. The territories that the Guild have spoken of that they wish to expand into from here.
We would not allow the Orions to come in here and do that, even if we weren't having this deal. We are still Klingons.
We are Klingon. But we, Mektor, our home, is far from everything Klingon. There are no patrols here. We were the only power. And my ship will be leaving shortly. One of my crew needs to be elsewhere at the moment.
Then you would simply return it after their business is done. If
Yes,
it's
my
truly a
ship-
priority.
My ship will return. But for a short time, we will have nothing here. Should either the Orions or the Shutluff Guild become acquisitive.
Brother,
nothing but our own guile.
He shakes his head a little bit at this. Brother, I do respect your judgment on this, and I do know that you've also had more experiences, both with the Orions in general and out in deep space, but if there is some risk to if there's some risk or threat to this, are you really so concerned about the Shotmouth? Would it not make sense then to simply ask them about as a honorable gesture, perhaps maintaining orbit for a time, or even if we invite it under the guise of celebration?
I will ask them what they know of this man.
Suppose that is all I can ask for in this case, but with you, even if this is part of some dispute, are we not better throwing common cause with the Shotmouth now? If we don't, then if these Orions are truly as dangerous as they're saying, if they would dare to attack a world even on the fringe of the Empire that belongs to the Klingon, that belongs to us Klingons, would it not be better to at least have someone to stand by us?
Unless they mean to not stand with us and simply let us die.
Well,
the destruction of a house, even one as in such a condition as ours, would be a much louder rallying cry for revenge. Than simply attacking our house with the Shutluff Guild. Maybe I have spent too much time among non-Klingons. I simply hate these kind of thoughts. Simply because they oftentimes turn out to be true. Don't worry about my ramblings, brother. But don't ignore them either. We just need to be ready for every possible contingency.
I won't discount them. We shall just both have to be as careful as possible with this.
Yes.
I shall trust your judgment and allow you to take lead. It is only proper.
Thank you, brother. I knew I could count on your support. We will see this done and done well.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have a call to make.
Indeed. Are you trying to make a call elsewhere or answer the incoming one?
Oh, what? There's an incoming call?
That was why I did this.
I can't hear the sound effect.
Oh, I had the Discord soundboard going as well. Sorry.
I have an incoming call. I will be in my office, brother, for now.
Very well.
Go to my office, answer. Nukne.
Chuckweet. The representative Hashok approaches. He has entered the town and is making his way towards the citadel.
Good. Tell all guards simply to keep an eye on him as he approaches and let me know when he gets here.
Yes.
Then I sign off.
Yep.
And I'm gonna try real quick to get a message off world, to get a signal off world to the Orion who's supposed to be coming to pick up the next herd of cats shortly.
I can't remember. Was that your friend who also deals in information?
Yes, he can get me. He got me information last time, and so I just want to see if he can get me information about this other guy. Because if he's that big and bad, I'm surprised I haven't heard of him. But I'm pretty sure my little buddy has. I just can't remember his name, and I don't see him listed in our cast.
Yes. I'm going through right now just to go back and find him, because I remember he was somewhere here. I might have to. I don't know. Maybe the token got blasted off into the vacuum somehow. That can be quickly fixed, however. Oh wait, there he is, Bosco.
Oh right, where is he?
I don't know, but I'll bring up his visual. The signal comes up and the voice is a little bit scratchy. Oh. Hello.
Go.
Victor, I am receiving signal. Excuse me. I am still a dozen light years out. Transmission, my long-range transmission still a bit iffy here. Yes.
That's all right, Bosco. This is Tabak.
Tabak, you made it back home. So good to hear. How are the cats looking?
Very good. Very healthy. I have a question for you.
What can I do?
What can you tell me of... God, why can't I remember the guy's name?
I put it in the Discord. I'll pin it for you.
Yeah, I was just going to say, where the heck did you put it? Oh, Lenton Hicks. Herks. Lenton Herks. What can you tell me?
You hear the clamor of, hands on the computer console.
You have secure line? Why didn't you tell me to secure the line?
Securing now. Beep, beep, beep.
Why are you asking about Lantern Hooks? You don't need to deal with him. Not somebody I would deal with.
That wasn't the question. What can you tell me of him?
I can tell you don't want to deal with him. Anyone who deals with him and goes out of line, not so good for them.
What is his problem with the guild?
What problem with guild? What? I don't understand.
The juHDaq guild.
Uh,
Is there a disagreement between him and the juHDaq guild?
Oh, the Shotloth.
Shotloth. Sorry, wrong name.
Right. I don't know anything. I didn't know that that guild did anything with the Orions. All I know, he's very picky, very meticulous. You don't go out of line with them. I heard he's been going through great rage after the slightest provocations. I hate to think of whoever crossed him in the worst of ways. Last thing I heard, one of his ships, the Vengeful Dice, I think, yes, came back and after getting apparently badly damaged somewhere in Klingon space. It's not pleasant. He killed a good bit of the crew. Thinks he wants to kill a good bit more. Trust me, TTRPG, we don't want to deal with him. Anyone who signs up for that deal, bad news.
I have no dealings with him, but I'm beginning dealings with the guild.
Well,
And if there's a problem between the guild and Herx,
I don't know. I don't know anything about your Klingon guild. I haven't heard anything of the sort. Methinks you're. Well, I double check my contacts, but as I heard, the Herx just generally angry men. More problem with those that he feels double-cross him. My best advice, don't get involved with Herx.
thank you, my friend.
It's okay. Don't.
How far out are you?
Still in about 12 light years. I maybe pick up the pace though and enjoy Mektor a little while longer. Particularly because foolish Batak say, speak of names he doesn't need to mention on open frequencies.
Uh-huh. Safe travels. And then I close the line.
Yep. So, the time continues on a little bit longer, and soon enough you get notification. Hashok has arrived.
Escort him to the Great Hall.
And so
Then I beat for the wife to let her know he is here.
Yep.
And then I beat for my brother and to remind him he is here.
Yep. So, a little time has passed, and you assemble in the Great Hall. I will ask, Kresik, you probably would have made it here. Would you have sought entry into the Great Hall as these last minute, as everyone is kind of assembling, or TTRPG's household?
You mean would I walk in?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'll say there's maybe a little bit of uncertainty as you attempt to enter the main hall. Some of the guards trying to figure out whether you belong there. TTRPG, you would actually see signs the doctor has shown up.
Doctor?
Captain.
I'm basically motion to the guards to let him pass.
And how close a spot would you try to assume, Kresic?
I'm not gonna get in the way of anything. Like, I'm not gonna make this deal go south because of my presence. But I do want to be there to be able to act should anything go sideways.
Understood. Once everybody has taken up their appropriate places, Hushok will be led in by some guards. He has a handful of people with him. They all, well, I'll say he probably has a couple of guards with him, but with very minimal armament. I would say juHDaqs and a couple of openly displayed disruptors. They are noticeably, like, strapped in to where, if they were to turn upside down, it would not fall out of their holster. But most crucially, that, it's a signal that they are not expecting a combat situation.
If you've ever gone to a Renaissance fair with a weapon, it's called peacetide.
Precisely. An open and honorable display on the part of his guards. Hushok, for his part, appears to be unarmed.
Daybuck, good to see you.
Welcome to my house yet again.
Yes. I hope you enjoyed the vintage of blood wine we've brought down for the occasion.
I had a sample. It was very, very good.
Yes.
Very strong.
Yes. I'm looking forward to breaking up the rest of it, so... if you have no further objections, I would very much enjoy getting to sign the document, solidify our agreement, and allow us to proceed to the festivities.
As would I.
They'll produce a pad. This contains the contents of the agreement, as we have discussed, and as had been transmitted to you previously. They'll raise a thumb and place it on one end of the pad. I stand here as a representative of the Shatlov Guild. I am authorized to sign on behalf of it. Consider it the representation of their word to honor their commitment here.
I take the pad, and before I'm going to keep a close eye on him, and as best I can, the two guys who came with him. And while still holding the data pad, because you have to put your thumbprint on it and say the words, I'm going to say, can you tell me, sure, about a man named Lanton Herx? And I'm trying to keep an eye on them to see what their reaction is.
You want to run an insight task here?
I'm assuming that's what I'm going to have to do, yeah.
Okay, insight plus command.
I don't suppose Orion business practices would apply?
Very loosely, I guess I can allow it, since you're dealing with the, you are dealing with a commercial, like some commercial nonsense, and in particular...
Well, it also involves...
Yeah.
Yeah, alright, so let's see what happens.
Okay,
Oh,
difficult.
And, I'm going... wait, what's the difficulty?
1.
Okay. I'm going to grab 3 momentum for 2 extra dice.
Copy that.
Dang it. There we go.
The counter should actually... Okay.
Oh, wait.
It was inaccurate on my end here. Apologies to those watching in the archive.
Oh, that gives me 4 dice.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That would give you 4 d20s. You buy 2 additional d20s with 3 dice, so that's
right.
That's all good there. Okay, that would be 5 successes, so you refill your pool of momentum completely. As you were gazing about the pad, since he, like you, has eyebrows to scrunch or otherwise moving away, his, I'd say, tighten up into a furrow that very much contributes confusion. It's a name that, like, I would say that his face doesn't portend any sort of familiarity or other sense of, like, the name doesn't mean much to him, and he's trying to recognize it.
What about the 2 guys who came in with him?
They're just kind of, straight-faced looking ahead, or, like, mindful of the rest of the room. They're more focused on keeping the person alive.
Okay, so Hashuk doesn't look like he's trying to be deceptive at all, and the name doesn't ring any Klingon gongs.
Yeah, and he'll say,
Okay.
I have not worked with them in the past. Somebody...
Orion. He's an Orion trader, with which I have recently heard there are issues between the guild and him. But, as you have not heard of anything, perhaps I have been misinformed. I placed my thumb onto the pad, and as the scion of the House of Cord, I, Tabak, join my fate to that of the Hashuk Guild.
Shutloth.
Bring out the blood wine!
Yes, blood wine. For the Shotmouth Guild, to be clear. I'm not so wealthy yet, but maybe...
Wait, isn't that what I said? Did I do it again?
You said Hashok again.
Sorry. The names are so close. The Shotmouth Guild.
Yeah, the GM should have written different names better.
It's my fault. It's not you, it's me.
Yeah, Hashok for his part, and this can be less canon in terms of, like, since Tabak probably wouldn't have made the mistake, he'll say, I'm not so wealthy yet, but maybe with your help, one day.
Hopla! And then, yeah, we just start...
Yep.
We just start drinking and eating.
Yep. His arms clasped to yours as Tabak, you intertwine your fate and the fate of Mektor with the machinations of the Shotmouth Guild. And,
Yep.
So.
And in my own head, I'm saying to myself, I got a bad feeling about this.
Mm-hmm. Though you do not let it pretend elsewhere.
Nope.
Karesic, for your part, as you gaze on to the captain's decision here, any thoughts or anything you'd communicate with the anything you'd want to communicate with Karesic's posture, or, like, I don't know, anything of the sort there?
I'm pretty sure that anything he does body language wise, I would be the only one to be able to read it.
Yeah. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like any of this. It's very different, and yet so similar to what happened to his own work back on Gornar. How it started. And then everything that continued to get pushed on top of it. So he is not happy about it at all. But he's not going to, I mean, it's not his business.
Do I note his displeasure?
He's not hiding it.
Yeah, go on. Yeah, but I'm the only one who could possibly in the room who could read your body language.
He was also not hiding it when we had the roundtable meeting last time either. So I don't think like I think you would notice.
Okay.
Yep.
I try. While the festivities are going on, I try to catch Kresic's eye. I mean, it's hard to tell. He's wearing Gorn sunglasses. Just try to catch his eye and just give him a slight little nod. I recognize he's pissed. And we'll talk later.
There is a measure of relaxing, and he takes his glass of clean, cold water and drinks it.
Yeah, we brought you a barrel.
You better have.
A refrigerated barrel. So it stays
Beautiful.
cold. Okay? You are, I mean, the whole crew are officially retainers of my house now.
Yes.
You are part of my house. We treat the people of our house well.
And basically, he's just watching the entire time, just in case anything catches his eye of concern.
Well, before we go too much further, let me ask, would anyone else have any other scenes that they want to run here?
I'm good.
Yeah, seeing none, I think then that is actually where we will end tonight's adventure. So, yeah, for those of you in the archive, this is where we will cut off. I'll cap that differently. Well, with Kressik's concerned gaze and the entwining of the House of Cord with the Shotloth Guild, that is where we end tonight's adventure. And indeed this episode. So we hope everybody enjoyed. For those of you in the archive, this is where we leave off with you. We will be streaming live again Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so we hope you'll join us then. Till then, chapla, and we will see you around.